Hey, it's MK, and I am back for another Groundhog Day layout for you guys today. And I wanted to just share with you guys where it all started and then what my first layout was from me scrap lifting myself to the second layout and then going into the third layout. So now let's see what I will do for today's Groundhog Day. So I'm super excited about this. Sit back, relax, because it is definitely going to be a long one. So the first thing I did was pull out some uber old ink pads from Close to My Heart in the closest colors that I could find to this super old collection. I think this collection is from 2012, you guys. It was my favorite collection, and I had a really awesome subscriber actually send me more of it. I love her. Thank you so much, Becky. I just love it. So I've got several photos of my kids playing the brand new Mario Kart. It's like Mario Kart 8 or something. And then I have this double stitched die in circles by Lawn Fawn. Now, they're not exactly as big as I wanted them to be, but they do work. So this paper pack is called Later Skater, and it is from Close to My Heart. Yep, I was right. It says 2012 right there. Super excited. This piece here I actually won't use. I thought I was going to, but I find out that I end up with enough circles that I don't bring in any of the green. I have several scraps. I've got this Close to My Heart gray paper that ended up being part of the paper collection. It came with several sheets of cardstock that was in coordinating, so it was just a one and done purchase. I loved their kits, you guys, really did. Lots of scraps and leftovers from previous layouts that I've made. I've got this film strip that was in here from 49 and Market. I won't use that either. This one here is more like skating and then the sneaker shoes, so I won't be using those either. And then I had some random tiny word stickers. Won't be using those either. I do like this one here because it is it's just a leftover border strip sticker that is of a tire track, and it's perfect for Mario Kart. I have this photo play die cut set that has gamer icons in it. I've already picked out several of the ones that I want to use, and I've put them on this little tray. I also pulled out these two pieces from Not Just for Boys. They were the old packaging and thank you cards, but I don't end up using those either, but I pulled them out just in case. From Simple Stories, I have this really cool, I think it's a volume control or I don't know, sound wave maybe, and I thought it was perfect. I have some assemblage required wood veneer that I will need to pull out my duct tape. Actually, it's Gorilla Tape to take off the masking. And then for my controllers, I actually left some of the masking on and then went through. Before removing the mask, I went through with a distress ink and inked up bits and pieces that I wanted to color, so that way some of the wood pieces were left the same and then some of it was in color, and then you remove the entire masking. So that was fun. And then I also have this cut file that I just quickly made for this layout, you guys. It was so fast, I haven't even put it in the shop yet or anything, but I just really wanted different sized controllers. I had several teeny tiny little controllers, and I wanted different options and choices. So I made these really quickly and cut them all out. I don't even know how they're going to work yet, but as I'm sharing them with you guys, an idea is forming in my brain. Now, I love layouts like this. I love layouts where I'm building my pieces, making my own embellishments, and taking my time. Now, I'm not going to lie, this layout probably took a good 2 hours because of all of the custom work that you do to create your own layouts. From Simple Stories as well, I think this is the family game collection. Some sort of game collection. I've got these little tickets. I have this little charm that's left over from my August collection, or August workshop. Nope, not a workshop. It is my August monthly box. And then I have these Flair from Scrap and Happy Studios that is available still in her shop. And then I can't remember if there was anything else, but I did share with you guys the little die cuts that I picked out from the Photo Play die cut pack. I love this plaid paper, you guys. It is one of my favorite papers. I'm just a sucker for plaid and stripes, you guys. I really am, especially if they're distressed inside somewhat. From Just Not For Boys, I have this really cool cut file that came in a kit, so it was already pre-cut for me, and I just wanted to share that with you and kept it in its packaging. And then I also have this solid piece of paper from the Later Skater. I'm going to map my photos with those. From Close to My Heart as well, I have this really cool, they're called Irresistibles, I think is what they're called, and they've got a tone-on-tone design, and then you ink them up with inks, and then that design pops a lot. So I'm going to be doing that for my title. And then also from Photo Play, which was from the same little kit that I bought from Not Just For Boys, I have this sticker sheet, but I won't be using it either because of all of the custom things that I'm going to be doing for my layout. So I do have a bunch of portions of this layout sped up super fast because I wanted to leave them in, but I didn't want it to be like 4 hours long because yes, this process did take quite a bit. So I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to cut all of my photos on this one piece of pattern paper. And then I'm also going to go and die cut all of my circles out of the plaid because I love that plaid so much. But I did want to share with you guys how these stickers work. Not that they're available, but you might go on Etsy or eBay or other places, even Amazon might have people selling the Close to My Heart stuff now that it's not available anymore and we all have to have it. But I wanted to share with you guys how it works because it looks plain and white, and then you can see the stripes in like the reflecting off. The stripes are actually like embossed, and so they're coated, clear coated. So when I put ink on, ink will only stick to the paper and I can rub it off of the stripes. Well, for the darker ink, I have to say it does kind of tint it a little bit, which I am fine. I really do love how it looks anyways. And so I just did a little ombre with the two light and dark blues and spelled out my title, Mario Kart. I didn't do the 8 on there just because of the fact that it's, I don't need to know that. It was just fun to play in the Mario Kart game. And so for my controllers, I decided to keep the negative. You're not supposed to. That wasn't the way I intended it to begin with. But then I realized that I could quickly color them by putting this, by inking these and then putting them back into the frames that I created. You don't even need to use the frames if you don't want them outlined, but they do finish off 2 of the controllers by having that little box around. I'm not a controller guru. I don't know what the point of that little box is, but it was part of the design when I went looking for, controllers for PlayStations and Wii's and things like that. So actually, we have a Nintendo Switch and we hook it up and we got extra controllers this year for Christmas because we had the little teeny tiny handheld controllers and we ended up getting the real size looking controllers that work with the Switch. So that was super fun. As well. So it's just super fun. So the first thing I did was I mounted them on all of these little cardstock scraps that I had, which I didn't know what I was going to do with those scraps to begin with. But now that I do, it worked out beautifully. I do end up using almost all of them, but not quite. And then I had this Vintage Nouveau Deluxe, nope, not Deluxe, that's the glue, Vintage Nouveau drop in black on my desk. I don't know why, but I did. And so I was going to go ahead and just use it to fill in some of the buttons and whatnot on these controllers. So super fun. Like I said, I love this part of scrapbooking. This was what first hooked me on scrapbooking, of all the little things that you can make, the little details that you can put in them, adding different little things to your cut out images. When Cricut first came out, I was hooked because of this. All the different things that you could do, how many times you can change it to match, match your design. Just one pattern is all it took. or one design, and then you multiple patterns. It is all it took for you to, customize all of these little pieces. And the more that it grows, the more I just keep falling in love with all of my little machines and the abilities that they can do. I can't boast about them enough, you guys. So I'm going to finish off my last little controller, adding in my little pieces. Now, all of the little negatives that I was supposed to put in, I left out because now they're gray based off of the fact that I put a backer sheet on them. So I was like, that's super cool. Now the little knobby things look like they're gray, or joysticks or whatever they're called. And then I just wanted that extra color by adding in these Nouveau drops. So it just worked out beautifully. I love this. I almost went and got the Nouveau drops in the different colors, but then I thought, oh, I'm going to get it wrong and somebody's going to say something. I'll just make them all black. All of my kids' are black, so that's what I did. So I'm also going to take all of these. I have these little Mario icons in the shop. And I'm just going to take the masking off in case you haven't seen my wood veneer yet. When you receive my wood veneer, it comes with this masking. I use Gorilla Tape to take it off. It's fast, it's simple, and super quick to do. I just do all the pieces, whether or not I'm going to use them or not. I just go ahead and do them all. That way they're done for the next project. And yeah, super fun. I also leave the masking on in case you want to color the wood. They accept distress oxide ink beautifully if you want to take the wood pieces and distress them. I showed that earlier in the video about how I left some of the masking on and inked up bits and pieces of the controllers that I don't actually end up using on the layout, but they're there for next time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and ink up this cut file. And the first thing I did was I laid me down some Lagoon ink. That used to be my favorite ink from close to my heart, minus the brown. Cocoa, I think it was cocoa was my favorite color, that dark brown. Back in the day. Now it turned into espresso or something like that. I don't know. But I'm going to ink up the my first, what's that called? Circuit board stencil in the sapphire color. So again, I don't have the actual color. It's supposed to be denim blue. I don't have that color anymore. That color's been retired for years. But I had my sapphire. So I went ahead and I inked that in my first circuit board, and then I took avocado, which again, it was supposed to be pear retired shortly. It's not as retired as the blue denim was, but I had avocado and it worked just fine. And I went and did my second circuit stencil with that. I love the layering on it. It's going to look so much better once I pull it off of the sheet. And then I'm just taking my pen and I'm messily. I don't expect this to be perfect. I am very messily going around and outlining this because it's supposed to look like it's moving. It's supposed to look like it's vibrating because these things do that. Did you guys know that? I didn't. It freaks me out. I don't like that. Turn it off. I didn't like that. All right, and then it was a little too bright for me, so I'm just taking whatever was left on my gray blender brush, and I'm just brushing out the edges, I just try to dull it a little bit because it was a little too bright for me. All right, so now that is all done, all of my bits and pieces, now I'm excited to put my layout together. I'm super excited. So I'm going off of what my other layout looked like. I had photos along the whole left, the right side of my left layout. I have them all stacked up going from top to bottom in most of my layouts. I didn't on my layout that I did last year because I decided to do a single page, which was random. But I'm changing it up now, and I'm not using rectangles. This time I'm using circles. I thought that was pretty cool too because we're driving cars. So that was just something fun to do, changing it all up. And so I've got my photos kind of the way that the previous years have had them. I'm doing a little spin off because I've got smaller photos instead of all 4x6s. Lately, I used to only scrap 4x6s and then trim them down. I know that I've been a real stickler of just preaching about the 4x6s and how my eyes are super old, and so I print them and then trim them down. Well, lately, most of my photos have been the whole photo is 4x6 and there's no way I can trim them down, and I would have a page after a page after a page of all of these photos. So I've been playing with the 4x3s lately, and trying to get the 4x3s to work with me. I'm loving them, you guys. I really am. I like the fact that I can get all these photos on one layout, but still incorporate my 4x6s. So plus it's kind of weird. Lately, my photos haven't been 4x6 because of the way that the iPhone works, right? Or I don't know if the other cell phones work like that or not, but honestly, the format isn't 4x6 anymore. So when I print 4x6s, they come out wonky and cut things off that I don't want cut off. So yeah, I've been enjoying this a lot. And the 3x4s print out beautifully as far as orientation goes. When I put my photo in there, it prints out really, really nice. And I'm able to still cut my paper at 3x4 and have a nice little border for whatever format or whatever size my 3x4s actually print out at. So it's nice. It's very nice. So I'm taking all of my little circles and I'm gluing them down based off of where my rectangles were in the previous layouts. So that is what I'm trying to go for. But I had to cut a lot. I had a lot of blank spaces. Now, if I was thinking, I should have brought back my circuit stencils. I really should have brought those back because would have just been amazing with having the circuit behind it. But again, my original layout had a white background. Well, it was actually off-white, but technicality, we'll ignore it for a heartbeat. So I did all of this on an original plain background, and then my next two were wood grain because I actually used wood grain in my rectangles on the first layout. I switched it up and used wood grain in the background, and then I went back to a white background for my last layout. So I thought, you know what, that is part of the design, is having all that white space. And then whatever you can tuck in and out of the frames. So I'm going to stick with the white space, but the stencil would have been amazing. So keep in mind, I have a ton of video game layouts to come, not this month, but to come, because I have a whole iris bin full of video game stuff. You guys, where did that come from? How did I get a bunch of video game stuff? It's crazy town. So anyways, I do have a bunch to use up, so I will be taking pictures of my kids playing their weirdo games and getting them out and scrapbooked and whatnot. So I have plenty of time to use my circuit stencil. I promise. It'll be amazing. All right, so here I am just going to quickly divide and conquer. I decided I want to use all of my adorable little cut file controllers. I really do. But this is where I tried to add in my smaller controllers. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is so cute having all these controllers everywhere. But I didn't like it. I really didn't. So I'm going to stop for a heartbeat. I'm going to put down where my title goes, because where my title goes, that basically means that I don't have room for embellishments, right? My title is going to span across both pages. So I'm going to have Mario on one side and Cart on the other side. And of course it changes after a while. I'm trying to find more spots to put more embellishments, because I had a ton of embellishments that I really, really, really wanted to use on this layout. And I didn't want to not use them, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go ahead and tear apart all of these little tickets by Simple Stories, so that way I've got more little embellishments all over the place. I have to tell you guys that when they said let's play a game of Mario Kart really quickly, it's not quick. Like the race is, but it takes forever. You've got to choose a character, then you get to go and choose a car, then you get to go and choose wheels, then they were picking something else, and it's like, will you guys just play the game already? Like, I don't understand this. When I played Mario Kart, which was, version numero uno, I don't remember all of that. When you picked a character, you picked what car he was already, like, the character already had his car and everything. I don't remember all the little details that you can pick now and change and all that stuff. It was crazy. It was nuts. And then of course, then you have to pick the track, and they're sitting there going through all these little tracks and tracks and tracks and tracks. And it didn't really matter because when they started actually racing, you couldn't see anything. I've got a picture of the TV up there where you've got all the little 4 squares of each of them, and all you see is the backside of their car. You don't really get to see the track or how cool the track is or anything. It's like, then what is the point? I did not understand any of it. But I had fun watching them. I had fun listening to them. They just were good sports, letting me take pictures of them. I mean, it was so much fun. So instead of using my controllers that I thought I was going to use, my wood veneer controllers, I ended up just using the little icons for the Mario game that I had in wood veneer. I didn't color them. I didn't do anything. I really just love that little pop of wood veneer because it matches the couch and our furniture that we had in the house at the time. So it was absolutely perfect. All right, you guys, thanks so much for sticking around with me and watching this uber long video and how my layout is evolving over the years. I'm loving the fact that I incorporated circles this year. I thought it was a good step out of the box and a good representation still of my layout that I did and continue to do. So I'm super excited. I really am. Again, thank you so much. Don't forget to check out everyone else that is playing along with Groundhog's Day. I love watching everybody scrap themselves over the last couple years. It has been so much fun. So don't forget to check out the link down below, and I will check you guys all later. Bye.